Hello and welcome to this edition of the Ferrell Phelps Show. My guest today is Misty Early. She's going to share her story with us about her weight loss procedure that caused a lot of issues in her life. But it also transformed her life. You guys want to stick around for this segment. Now, she was supposed to be a guest a couple of weeks ago on the Ferrell Phelps Show, but things happened and she wasn't able to make it. But you know what? God's timing is perfect. And today was that perfect time for Misty Early to give her testimony on the set of the Ferrell Phelps Show. You guys stick around. This is one that you don't want to miss. Hello and welcome to this edition of the Ferrell Phelps Show. My guest today is Misty Early. How are you today? I am fantastic. Number one, thanks so much for being here.
Most definitely.
And I gotta let these guys know exactly what your story is. Misty actually had the gastric bypass, and so many complications actually took place after having this particular surgical procedure to lose weight. And we're going to hear her story right now, as a matter of fact. Now, I've talked to many people, of course, Misty, that have had the surgery. Some people have had it very successfully and have not had issues or anything like that. But that wasn't your story. Your story was a little bit different. Let's start off by how much weight were you trying to lose when you initially had the surgery?
I say initially I was trying to lose about 125 pounds.
About 125?
About 125 pounds, yeah. I was 334 pounds.
Okay.
At my highest.
334?
Yes.
Okay.
But I lost over 220 pounds. 190 of that being at 10 months into the surgery.
So I'm sorry. Let me just go backwards so I can make sure I got that right.
Sure.
Within a 10-month period of time,
Yes.
you lost, after the gastric bypass surgery, 190 pounds.
That's correct. Yeah.
That's a whole lot
Yes.
of weight
Person.
in a short period of time, and that's not the normal time span, is it?
No. You
So-
should be losing probably 25, 30 pounds a month max. And there was some complications with the surgery that they had to go back in and fix. And they did that twice. I couldn't even intake fluids, no food at all. So that's why the weight was so rapid coming
Yeah.
off. Yeah.
Okay, so I just want to make sure I got this right. 190 pounds in 10 months, and then you couldn't take in food,
Correct.
so you had to get liquids
Yes.
in order to get the nutrients and vitamins that your body actually needed.
Yes. Ensure things of high calorie nature, things like that. And those became so rich and sweet that my body was rejecting those as well. And so I began to throw up. And that's when they had to hydrate me with Gatorade, things of that nature. And that didn't work any longer.
Okay.
I wasn't able to take anything in. And that's when I declined to about 119 pounds. And
119 pounds. So from
Yeah.
325,
334.
334 to 119 pounds,
Yes.
and woo.
Yeah. Diagnosed as being malnourished, complete iron depletion from the body. Now I'm diagnosed with Restless Leg Syndrome, also
Neuropathy.
chronic neuropathy, and the restless legs is a
Derivative
side
of?
effect of that.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I have to take medicine probably till my life and to be able to go to sleep. Yeah, because the restless legs is so it doesn't allow you to go to sleep at night.
Okay.
And that's a direct result of that, and many different complications.
Yeah.
1 year of physical therapy.
An entire year of
Yeah.
physical therapy
Yes.
after having the gastric bypass surgery.
Yes.
And that's just not common.
No, it's not
that
common.
that type of thing takes place.
Neither are those things. Some things are explained to you, but neither of those things were explained. Death, but not those.
But not those.
Not those.
Not life and living with the circumstances that
That's
could
correct.
take place after you have the surgery.
That's correct.
Now, I understand that there's a process that you have to go through before you actually get the surgery done, right?
Yes.
It's like a therapy of some sort.
Well,
I've heard.
not necessarily. Sometimes the doctor requires certain things, and then sometimes the insurance carriers requires different things. They may not be the same things, but in order to get approved for the insurance, either or may have to work together on
Okay.
that. Now, when you're at a certain BMI, which is body mass index, mine was 50 at the time. And when I considered surgery, and with the body mass index being that I should have had diabetes, I should have had high blood pressure, I should have had all of those things, and I did not. The only thing I did have, which they call a comorbidity, was sleep apnea. That was the only thing I did have. But because my body mass index was so high, they allowed the surgery.
Okay.
And the weight.
Yeah. Now, I also know that another thing that took place after you had the surgery was a lot of hospital stays.
Yes.
And you were actually up in the hospital for up to 2 weeks at various times, and then back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That had to be very hard for you as well.
It was, because I was already out on long-term disability at that time from my job. I was in the corporate world, so that was a big transition for me. And then for my family, my kids were small then. This was in 2007, 8. And so my kids were small then, and my husband had to assume that whole responsibility and that whole role in my absence.
Wow.
Yes. And so a lot of things the hospital will not allow me to do myself, like bathe myself, because it was a liability to them, because I had a heart monitor at that time.
Yeah, which was also a result of the surgery as well, right?
Yes, yeah, I was like fragile, weak, completely malnourished, and they were taking blood in 3 intervals a day, and I looked like a pincushion because of that.
Yeah.
And with me being so pale, I mean, every vein was exhausted, too. They were gonna have to put it in my neck to be able to take. When you're dehydrated and malnourished, you can't even hardly give blood. So they have to call a special phlebotomist in to be able to take
your
from
blood.
You.
Wow.
Yeah.
I had no idea that was the type of thing that had to be done when you're dehydrated.
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah. There's so much to learn when you're listening to these types of stories. A lot of times people don't have this type of information, and they don't know these things prior to going into this type of surgical procedure. And not every surgical procedure is 100% what you expect it to be.
That's exactly.
And suffering from malnourishment, that had to be hard for you. Not being able to eat at all, and only taking liquids. Now, you could that time period where you could only have liquids lasted how long?
From actually the surgery, it lasted about 6 weeks.
Okay.
But after the transition, where I tried to eat regular food, it just didn't work. It was supposed to only last 6 weeks. But when you get to a point where you're malnourished and you can't eat, you want the feeling of being able to eat. And that's when you eat just to taste it in your mouth, and then you throw it up.
Really?
Well, you don't even digest it, as a matter of fact. You just spit it out.
Okay.
Yeah, you spit it out because you just want the taste of fried chicken or meat or something like that. You know, if you swallow it, you're gonna throw it up. So you just want to taste, and you just spit it out because you know what the result is gonna be.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that can set in bulimia and all of those other things.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Man, you really have gone through a lot.
Yeah, but God.
And but God, she said. But God. Yeah, that you're still here. And I know that had to be difficult for your family as well. That had to be a challenge for your family. And I certainly want to talk about the effects that it not only had on you, but the effects that it ultimately had on your family as well, as we continue to have this dialogue with Misty Early. You guys stick around. We're going to be back with more in just a moment.
Sky Trues, custom eyewear, has taken the world by storm. In only 8 months, Sky Trues has gained the eyes of many, including celebs like Big Sean, Little Flip, Destiny's Child, Soulja Boy, just to name a few. Through custom design, Sky Trues can put your imagination on your frames. I bring to you the next big thing in Houston, Sky Trues, created by Golden Boy, the musician, the artist, the entrepreneur, and grassroots marketing genius. Be inspired. Sky Trues, custom designed frames. Sky Trues.
All right, welcome back to this segment of the Ferrell Phelps Show. Thank you guys so much for joining me. We're having a discussion with Miss Misty Early. Now, Misty, when we left off, I was asking you about the effects. We know some of the effects, rather, that it had on you.
Yes.
And you have a family.
Yes.
And you have 3 kids. And so, how did that, and a husband, how did that affect that family nucleus to see you going through this experience?
Actually, at that time, I had 2 at home. Actually,
Okay.
I have 5 altogether. That separation, that segregation that we had was something that we had never had.
Okay.
It was always support of both husband and wife for the children, and for me to be removed depleted everything from the
Okay.
family. I did all of the cooking, pretty much all of the cleaning, plus, I had a corporate job. And when that's removed with small children, they have to fend for themselves, almost. Because my
Yeah.
husband had to assume the primary caretaker position with me being in the hospital, and he would come see about me every day with working 12, 14 hours a day.
Wow.
So that is a big transition for the kids from missing their mother and the meals that they get every day, and now they gotta eat fast food and everything else. So it's hard.
And so, how did you, on a day-to-day basis, how did you handle life? Were you in bed most of the time?
I was in bed most of the time, and it's nothing worse than a woman that is thinking about the things that have to be done in her home, her children, and the necessities that they need, and you can't do them. And you're used to doing them. You're used to being that driving force in the family,
Right.
and you can't be that. And you have to sit down, and you have to get well, and we don't know how to do that. That's why a lot of times us as women, we don't heal right, because we keep on doing what it is that got us where we're at, which is on our back at that moment. The transition is hard.
The transition had to be hard. And now, with the gastric bypass, you had it once,
Yes.
and then you had a revision,
I had
and then
2 revisions.
another revision. So you've actually had 3 different surgical procedures
Yes.
on your stomach with that gastric bypass.
I had those, and actually, I had a tummy tuck.
Okay.
Afterwards, the insurance paid for that because of the amount of skin, and they did pay for that, and that really is the biggest part that a woman, and possibly a man as well, I don't know, will struggle with after the surgery is body image. Is how you look without your clothes on. Yeah, I might look good with my clothes on, but I gotta look at me without my clothes on.
Right.
And so the amount of skin that is taken off, insurance will only cover for a small amount because it's cosmetic, and it has to be in your stomach, and you have to have had other procedures, like I had my tubes tied, and I had my appendix removed. So in those areas, they didn't have to do as much as they would have to do if somebody didn't have that.
Really?
Yes. So they did it with me having those surgeries. And then also, they don't remove anything else. Anything that you have on the arms or the legs or anything else, you got to pay for that yourself. And so you're stuck with that image of yourself.
Okay. And you know what? That is so, the irony of it is, you basically fix a problem,
Yes.
but as a result of that problem being fixed, another problem is created.
That's correct.
And that problem being the loose skin and that type of thing once you disrobe.
Yes.
And, I know we all want to look in the mirror and look at ourselves and say, oh, I look good.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody, that's just human nature. We want to look good naked. Let me just say it.
Yeah, pretty much.
We want to look good naked. And so I can only imagine what that feels like when you look in the mirror and you say, okay, I've lost the weight now,
Yes.
but I still got to deal with this.
Yeah.
I still got to deal with it, whatever that issue is for you. And so then you have another issue.
Yes.
And so how do you handle that issue?
For me, it was being married for the length of time that I've been married.
Okay.
Because I think if I was in the dating scene when I had this, and I had to disrobe in front of somebody else foreign, no way.
Okay.
No way. That whole process, I cannot touch on that enough.
Okay.
About the image that you have of
Yeah.
yourself without your clothes on after a surgery like this of this magnitude, where you lose this amount of weight. I mean, that could be, what I lost was 220 pounds. About that could be two people.
Yeah.
You know, and so as a woman and dealing with that, my husband and my family were my help factors in that.
Yeah.
Because without that, I couldn't have been dating nobody. No way.
Wow. I think it's good when it's such a blessing to have family support.
Yes.
And it's such a blessing when you're a married person.
Yes.
And you have that spouse that you can count on, or that you hope to count on in circumstances and situations like this. But I've also seen situations where it's the opposite too, where once that person loses the weight,
Yes.
they change because they feel good about themselves, their self-esteem changes. So you end up being married to someone that you end up not really knowing, because this is a new person. Not only have you lost weight, but your whole attitude and persona has changed. And I've heard stories where there's a lot of divorces when the weight is lost, you know, or it can enhance the marriage. I guess it just depends.
Yes, it does depend. I won't say that didn't happen, because it did. You become a new person.
Okay.
And now the person that they used to know, we're not the same no more. We don't look the same no more.
Yeah.
And now we draw attention.
Yeah.
When we go places, and sometimes it's wanted. We want it because we haven't had it. We may have not had it from where we wanted it from.
Yeah.
And now the attention that we're attracting is attracting our spouse as well, because they weren't used to you getting all the attention that you're getting now. And sometimes you accept that attention, and that's just the truth. You know, real talk, you know, it's just real talk. So it does happen. That's why divorce is so common with people that have weight loss surgeries.
You know, what I really appreciate about you is your transparency.
Most definitely.
About that particular thing. Now, let me ask you personally, how did you handle that attention when it came to you personally?
I think maybe I'm a minister, and I think that kicks in with transparency.
Okay.
And so I don't mind telling my testimony or anything of that nature. And this surgery kind of aided in my testimony, because in this surgery and in all that happened here, I did have an affair.
Okay.
And that was hard to deal with everything else that was going on.
Yeah.
But all of those things prepared me for the person that I am today.
Yeah.
And I would do everything again
Mm-hmm.
that I did to get to this point. I may have done a few things differently, but I know that God laid out my path to be able to produce the person that I am sitting here in front of you today. And so everything was for a reason.
Yeah. You know, and I always find it so refreshing when I get to speak with someone, especially when it's a pastor or a minister, who can tell the truth.
Oh, most definitely.
Because so often you see the facade, or you see people pretending from the pulpit, like they've done no wrong, like they've never erred or made mistakes in their life. But when you can tell me what your truth is, it helps me to trust you
Most definitely.
as a minister.
More
And
effective.
you're more effective because it lets me know that, you know, even Misty experienced this. Even Misty went through this here. I too can overcome.
Yeah.
You know,
Same
it
God.
lets me know that you are human,
Yeah.
just like I'm
Same
human.
God that did it for me can do it for
And
you.
the same God that did it for you can do it for me, whatever that particular situation and or circumstance might be. Misty, I'm enjoying this dialogue so much, and I'm learning so much. Thank you so much. Stick around. We're going to be back, you guys, in just a moment. Don't go anywhere.
Sky Trues, custom eyewear, has taken the world by storm. In only 8 months, Sky Trues has gained the eyes of many, including celebs like Big Sean, Little Flip, Destiny's Child, Soulja Boy, just to name a few. Through custom design, Sky Trues can put your imagination on your frames. I bring to you the next big thing in Houston, Sky Trues, created by Golden Boy, the musician, the artist, the entrepreneur, and grassroots marketing genius. Be inspired. Sky Trues, custom designed frames. Sky Trues.
All right, welcome back to this segment of the Ferrell Phelps Show with my guest, Misty Early. Misty, welcome back to the show. You know, I like I said a minute ago, I always find it refreshing when I have a guest on the show who is so transparent and keeps it real, just tells it the way it is. Because your truth oftentimes set other people free.
Yes.
But when we hold back on our truth, we can't set other people free.
That's right.
Be it your testimony, be it your life experience, whatever it is. And you being in the capacity of minister, I think it's even more important that you have a level of transparency. Because when people are transparent, we can relate to them.
Yes.
You know? And I think everybody wants a minister and or pastor that we can relate to.
Most definitely.
That just tells it like it is. You know, my experience with my pastor is, one day he said to the congregation, y'all pray for me, I got a problem cursing. And I just curse somebody out this week or whatever, you know, and pray for me. And you know what? To me, I'm like, that's the coolest thing. Because you just kept it real. Because guess what? I just cussed somebody out too.
Okay.
So it just let me know I'm human, like you human.
That's it.
I'm human. These things happen.
They do.
But I'm being, you being transparent. It lets me know you're not like above.
That's right.
I'm getting carried away with this thing.
It's okay.
But I want to, we were talking about the affair that you had once you lost the weight and that experience that you had.
Mm-hmm.
How has your marriage since been, since you guys got things back together?
Actually, the things leading up to the affair weren't just the weight loss, weren't just all of those things. They were already there. That just aided.
Right.
They just aided the process and quickened it on.
Okay.
You know? Okay. But after that, we became the people that we are today because of it.
Yeah.
In our church where we serve, he's a deacon, and I became a minister in 2012. All this after this process. You don't get anything until you go through a process. When you go through a process, that's when you heal. That's when everything, that's when you become everything that God wanted you to be.
Yeah.
You know, some people think you get salvation and it's an immediate thing and you change. And no, that's not how it goes. Now Satan is mad about what you're going to, because of your potential.
Yeah.
He's mad about your potential. And so you have to hurt to heal. That's the only thing that helps. Tell the truth. Become things to each other that you never were before. Mm-hmm. Let the things happen to you be something that's going to take you to the next level, that can help you help another couple. Anything that can save a marriage that was going the wrong way. Any of those things that can help somebody else get through what I went through. That's what I want to do. I want to help people do that.
Get through what you've been through.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know that you said it all. Actually, you said it all. And that's the purpose of the experiences that we have in life. When we can forge through those experiences.
Yes.
They may be painful at times, they may be hurtful at times, but when we can forge through that experience and come out on the other side and talk about it and tell somebody that you can make it. I made it.
That's it.
This happened in my life, and guess what? I'm still here right now to talk and tell you about my situation. It's called a testimony.
That's it. That's it.
And that's what you're doing today.
Yes.
You know, you are sharing your testimony through your life experiences.
Most definitely.
And that's a beautiful thing. I want to go backwards a little bit into some of the things that took place after the surgery. Now, you have the sleepless leg syndrome.
Restless legs.
Restless legs and neuropathy?
Chronic neuropathy.
Chronic neuropathy. Can you explain exactly what chronic neuropathy is?
When diagnosed with chronic neuropathy, the sensation in whatever area it is gone. It's like numb. And I had to go through what they call IVIG therapy. It's an intravenous therapy that I went through for, it initially should have been only 6 months.
Okay.
It was progressed to 9 months. And what that entails is going into an office with a registered nurse and in an office setting where this liquid is administered into your vein, really to make you strong again, really.
Through the liquid that's...
Through the liquid intravenously, 6 hours a day, once a week for 9 months.
Wow.
Yeah. Did that.
Wow.
After that, then we went into the physical therapy for a year. All those preparations just to get me back where I could walk again. Then, because of the damage that was done by the chronic neuropathy, now, even after being repaired through physical therapy, which is really nothing but exercise,
Right.
to try to rebuild yourself, your muscles,
Mm-hmm.
then I developed the Restless Leg Syndrome because all of the nerves are damaged there. So you have to, there's a sensation of your legs just want to move and do whatever they want to do when it's time to go to sleep. And so if you don't take the medicine that's prescribed, you don't sleep. Yeah, it keeps you from sleeping,
Wow.
in essence, yeah.
And all of this was a derivative of the gastric bypass.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow, wow, wow. Man, so, you when I see you, when I look at you, you look terrific. You know, you don't see what you've been through. And I see you walk normal. I don't see anything. But I guess at nighttime is when you have issues.
Yeah.
When you're trying to rest.
And it's just a restlessness in your legs. It's not a pain, or they just move by themselves. And if you in the medicine, I couldn't tell you the medical name for it, but when you take it, you need to be at home. 30 minutes and you're out.
Really?
It is out. Yeah, it's like sleeping pill.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's gonna make you go to sleep. So, it's you know you if you need to go to sleep, you better be at home.
Okay.
You know?
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
So, what is life like now?
Life like now, completely different is just not even a term.
Okay.
Who I am is so much not like what I used to be. I was tired all the time before, 334 pounds in a corporate job, dressing a certain way. The way you see me today is the same way I dressed then.
Okay.
I was always into fashion and things like that, but my level of enthusiasm, all of that is 500 times.
Oh.
500 times. I'm on fire. I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning the majority of the time, and that's late. I stay up till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and I have to make sure that I take my medication at an appropriate time, because I like to stay up. I'm just on the go from the time I wake up to the time that I go to sleep. It's a fire that's inside of you when you see what you have become as a result of what you were.
Yeah.
And the process in the middle.
Okay.
And that you don't look like what you've been through. And that the person that you see in the mirror is not that person that you used to be. I mean, there's certain things that you do, like you have to relearn how to go down an aisle and know that you'll fit. And that you won't have to turn sideways or things like that.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it's like a whole mindset that you have to change. You'll look at yourself and you'll say, well, maybe a 16 will fit. And you're a 10. You just see yourself as big all the time.
Even
now. I wear a 10, 12 or whatever. Sometimes I'm like, that's not going to fit me. And it's too big. That whole imaging thing.
Yeah.
You have to get by. You have to get past that. And I tell you what, if it wasn't for my faith, I don't know if I would have got through that.
Yeah. And faith is so important when you're going through something, because that's like having a battery plugged into your brain or into your body some kind of way that helps you to push and forge forward.
I know it's there when I can't see it.
Yeah.
I know it's there.
And that's where that faith come in. So when you look at yourself in the mirror sometimes, do you look at yourself and not recognize yourself?
That's
because
the
you were so
biggest thing.
used to seeing the old person?
Yes. And what refreshes me is when I go back and look at the pictures of what I used to look like.
Mm-hmm.
That refreshes me. I am not that person anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. That, you know, it's amazing that how the mind plays tricks on us.
Yes.
Number one, because once we get conditioned to seeing things a particular way,
Yes.
even though those things may not exist like that anymore,
You still see them
you
that way.
still see them
Yes.
that way. That's the power of the mind, man.
Yes.
The mind ain't no
Mind
joke.
controls everything.
There you go, and that's where the battlefield is. And when you
mind.
learn to conquer those battles of the mind
Yes.
through your life challenges, and that's when success is at hand.
That's right.
We're going to continue to talk more about your story in just a moment when we come back. You guys stick around for more of this story with Misty Early. We'll be back.
Sky Trues custom eyewear has taken the world by storm. In only 8 months, Sky Trues has gained the eyes of many, including celebs like Big Sean, Little Flip, Destiny's Child, Soulja Boy, just to name a few. Through custom design, Sky Trues can put your imagination on your frames. I bring to you the next big thing in Houston, Sky Trues, created by Golden Boy, the musician, the artist, the entrepreneur, and grassroots marketing genius. Be inspired. Sky Trues, custom designed frames. Sky Trues!
All right, welcome back to this final segment with my guest, Misty Early. Misty, you know, I could ask you questions all day long. We could be here for a minute. But I wanted to ask you, what was your motivation for even having the surgery?
That's pretty easy. I honestly believe that if you're given a book and you only read the first chapter and you don't read the rest of the book, then you wouldn't know what the book was about.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe that in order to get where I am today, I had to do this. And my motivating factor for doing it was my marriage. My marriage was tore up
Okay.
when I decided to have the surgery. And I thought that it would help.
Okay.
It honestly didn't help. It did not help. I met my husband when I was already over 200 pounds. So he liked thick women anyways. So
Okay.
that didn't matter to him a hill of beans.
Okay.
So it was me. It was me. It was me. And so I thought that it would help. It did not.
Okay.
Okay? It actually led into an affair and different things like that. All of this course of this surgery was for me.
Mm-hmm.
It was for me to help me.
Yeah.
And I believe that if I wouldn't have went through these things, and if I would have known ahead of time
Yeah.
the things that I know now, I wouldn't have done it. Meaning
Okay.
that book. That book.
Yeah.
If I would have known in the first chapter what was going to happen at the end, I wouldn't have read the book.
Yeah. You would have put that book to
I
the
would
side.
have put it to the side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you almost answered my second question and everything that you said, but I'm going to ask my second question anyway. If you had to do it all over again, would you do it?
Most definitely. Most definitely. That whole process is the reason why that I'm the person that I am today. Every moment, everything, I wouldn't change anything. Because God strategically orchestrated and designed everything that I went through to become the person that I am today.
Yeah.
And so no, I would not change anything. I would do it again.
Wow. All right. Yeah, you know, I think that's awesome. When your attitude is the attitude that you have. I think that's awesome. Now, I wanted to ask you one other thing. Were you in ministry prior to this taking place in your life?
No.
How did you end up from that to ministry? And was that one of the derivatives of what you had gone through in becoming a minister?
Oh, you open a Pandora box in that. Ministry is a result of a doctor coming in a room and saying, if you don't eat, you're going to die. If you don't eat, I'm going to put a tube in your stomach, and that's how we're going to feed you. Ministry is a result of domestic violence, violence against me and my husband, standing over him at night and saying, am I going to hurt you the way that you've hurt me, and thinking about killing him. All of those things are a result of who I am today.
Yeah.
That's why I tell you that every step, everything that I went through, I would do it again. Because it has molded me into the person that I am today. Anything that could happen to me right now, I know it is a preparation for the thing that is coming.
Yeah.
I know that it is God preparing me for his ultimate work.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Wow.
But God.
But God.
Okay.
But God. And you know what Misty just said is actually applicable to all of our lives. Not just Misty's life, but all of our lives. The things that we have gone through and or are going through is designed to make a difference in our lives so that God can take us to the place that he ultimately wants us to be. And I think that's what I want everybody to walk away with from this show today, knowing that whatever it is that you are dealing with, whatever it is that you are going through, God has a purpose for that experience in your life. And you are valuable. If you were not, he would not allow these things to take place in your life so that you can grow and go to the next level. You know, I say this often, and I use thank you very much, $100 bill as an example. We can take a $100 bill that's fresh off the press, that just went through the mint and someone handed it to us. It looks different because it's fresh and it's brand new. Yeah. And then we can take a $100 bill that we left in our pair of blue jeans and threw in the washing machine and realize, God dog it, I left my money in my pocket. It looks a mess. But guess what? When you unfold it and you take a look at that $100 bill and you walk into your local store to make a purchase, the value of that $100 bill is the same.
That's right.
It's no different for us. It's no different from us. No matter what we have been through, no matter what we have dealt with, no matter what we have battled with in our lives, our value does not change. And it definitely doesn't change in God's eyes. If anything, guess what? Your value is increased. Can I get an amen on that? That's real talk. And so I want everybody to walk away with that message today. Misty, you were phenomenal.
Thank you.
You were phenomenal. And you know, and I have to say this as well. Misty was actually scheduled for the show a few weeks ago. And en route to the show, she wasn't able to make it because she had some issues that come up with her car or something to that effect. But this just reminds me, too, that God's timing is perfect.
It's predestined.
That wasn't the time for you to be here. Had you been here that day, these people wouldn't get to hear the testimony that we got to hear.
Amen.
And that we were blessed by. This day was ordained for you to be here.
Amen.
To give your message for everybody that's seeing this show, when they see it, to get something from it. I almost want to shout right now. And I know I ain't by myself. This man, you know, and I feel so blessed right now because when I began doing the show, this type of thing is what I wanted to happen in the show. These types of testimonies, these types of blessings that will make a difference in the lives of others when they get an opportunity to witness shows like this. So I can't thank you enough. And I certainly thank you so much.
Obligation to do that.
Thank you so much, and I certainly thank God for that. I hope you guys have enjoyed this edition of Let's Talk About It, the Ferrell Phelps Show, as much as I have. Now, for more information on the show, you can certainly reach me at Let's Talk About It 12TV at gmail.com. That's Let's Talk About It 12TV at gmail.com. We also have a YouTube channel. You can simply go to YouTube, type in the name Ferrell Phelps, and see all of our shows right there. Thank you so much for joining me on this edition. And until next time, folks, we'll see you then.